The hearing, my brother Sebastian called me. He said that our parents had asked him to be a character witness at the court hearing. He said that they wanted him to testify about what a good family we had always been and how much they loved Isabella. Sebastian said that he was confused about the legal situation because our parents had told him that we were the ones who were being unreasonable. They had said that all they wanted was a normal grandparent relationship with Isabella, and that we were using the legal system to punish them for caring too much. I explained to Sebastian everything that had happened over the past few months, including the false reports to social services, the harassment at Nathaniel's workplace, and the confrontation at Isabella's medical appointment. Sebastian said that our parents had not told him about most of these incidents. Sebastian said that he did not want to take sides in a legal dispute between me and our parents. He said that he loved all of us and that he hoped we could work things out without involving courts and lawyers. He decided not to attend the hearing as a witness for either side. At the restraining order hearing, Mr. Montgomery presented evidence of my family's harassment, including phone records, text messages, photos of the uninvited visits, and documentation from the hospital social worker and pediatrician's office. He also played voicemails that my mother had left using Eleanor's name for Isabella and threatening to find ways to force a relationship. My parents attended the hearing without a lawyer. When the judge asked if they wanted to respond to our request for a restraining order, my father said that they were just loving grandparents who were being kept away from their granddaughter by their daughter's controlling husband. My mother said that she was worried about Isabella's well-being because I was suffering from postpartum depression and making irrational decisions. She said that they had only contacted social services because they genuinely believed that Isabella was not receiving proper care. The judge reviewed all the evidence and said that the pattern of behavior described in our petition was clearly harassment. She said that grandparents do not have the right to force relationships with grandchildren or to interfere with parents' medical and childcare decisions. The judge granted a 1-year restraining order against my mother, father, and Aunt Beatrice. The order prohibited them from contacting us directly or indirectly, from coming to our home or workplaces, from attending Isabella's medical appointments, and from making false reports to any government agencies. The judge also ordered my family to pay our legal fees because she found that their behavior had been deliberately disruptive and that they had ignored our previous requests to respect our boundaries. After the hearing, my mother tried to approach me in the courthouse. A bailiff immediately intervened and reminded her that the restraining order was now in effect and that she needed to stay away from us. My father was arguing with the bailiff about whether they could talk to us one more time to explain their side of the story. Mr. Montgomery walked us out of the courthouse through a different exit. To avoid any further confrontations, he said that violations of restraining orders are taken seriously by law enforcement and that we should call police immediately if my family members attempted any contact. 2 weeks after the restraining order was granted, we received a letter from a different lawyer representing my parents. The letter stated that they were considering filing a lawsuit for grandparents' visitation rights and that they believed the restraining order was based on false information. Mr. Montgomery responded to their lawyer and said that any attempt to file for visitation rights while a restraining order was in effect would be viewed as harassment and could result in additional legal consequences. He also said that our documentation of their behavior would be relevant evidence in any future legal proceedings. Since then, we have not had any direct contact with my parents or Aunt Beatrice. Sebastian still talks to me occasionally, but he says that our parents are devastated about being cut off from Isabella. He says that they spend most of their time talking about how unfair the legal system is and how Nathaniel has poisoned my mind against my own family. Isabella is now 6 months old and developing beautifully. She is reaching all her milestones and is a happy, healthy baby. Nathaniel and I have been able to focus on being new parents without the constant stress of family harassment. The restraining order still has 6 months remaining, and we plan to request an extension if there are any attempts at contact before it expires. Mr. Montgomery said that the documented history of harassment will make it easy to get additional protection if needed. Update 3. It has been 6 months since my last update about the restraining order against my parents and Beatrice. Isabella is now 1 year old, and I want to share how Everything was finally resolved because the situation took some unexpected turns. The restraining order was set to expire in December, and Nathaniel and I were planning to request an extension. We had not heard from my family directly since the court hearing, but Sebastian had mentioned that our parents were still talking about trying to see Isabella once the legal restrictions ended. In November, something happened that changed the whole situation. Sebastian called me and said that he needed to tell me something important about our family. He said that he had been going through old boxes in our parents' basement to help them organize before a plan moved to a smaller house. Sebastian found a box of papers and documents that belonged to our grandmother, Eleanor. Inside the box were letters, diary, entries, and medical records that our parents had kept after Eleanor died. Sebastian said that after reading through these documents he finally understood why I had such negative memories of Eleanor. The papers included letters that Eleanor had written to her sister, Catherine, complaining about having to babysit Sebastian and me. In these letters, Eleanor described us as difficult and spoiled children who needed strict discipline to teach us proper behavior. Eleanor had written detailed descriptions of the punishments she used, including locking us in the basement and withholding food. She wrote about these methods like they were normal parenting techniques that our parents were too soft to use themselves. She complained that our parents spoiled us and that someone needed to teach us respect. Sebastian also found diary entries where Eleanor wrote about how much she disliked children in general. She wrote that babysitting was a burden and that she resented having to spend her weekends dealing with ungrateful grandchildren. She described Sebastian and me using very harsh language and said that we were proof that modern parents had no idea how to raise children properly. The most disturbing documents were notes that Eleanor had made about her interactions with other grandchildren in our extended family. She had written similar complaints about my cousins and had described using the same punishment methods with them. Sebastian realized that Eleanor had been systematically mistreating multiple children over many years. Sebastian said that after reading these papers he felt sick about how our family had portrayed Eleanor as a loving grandmother. He said that the evidence clearly showed that Eleanor had been abusive and that our parents had either not known about it or had chosen to ignore it. Sebastian brought these documents to our parents and confronted them about Eleanor's behavior. According to Sebastian, our mother initially tried to defend Eleanor by saying that the letters and diary entries were taken out of context. She said that Eleanor was from a different generation and that her discipline methods were normal for that time, period. Our father was more disturbed by what Sebastian had found. He said that he had suspected Eleanor was too strict with us, but that he had trusted our mother's judgment about leaving us with her. He said that if he had known about the punishments Eleanor was using, he would never have allowed her to babysit us. Sebastian said that our parents spent several days arguing about the documents and what they meant for our family situation. Our mother was reluctant to admit that Eleanor had done anything wrong because it would mean that her entire campaign to get Isabella named after Eleanor was based on honoring an abusive person. Our father eventually said that they needed to acknowledge the truth about Eleanor and that they owed me an apology for pressuring me to use her name. He said that if Eleanor had really treated Sebastian and me the way the documents described, then my refusal to honor her memory made complete sense. 2 weeks later, Sebastian called me again and said that our parents wanted to meet with Nathaniel and me to discuss the situation. He said that they were ready to admit that they had been wrong about Eleanor and that they wanted to apologize for everything that had happened over the past year. Sebastian said that our parents understood why we had gotten a restraining order and that they were not planning to fight the legal restrictions. He said that they just wanted a chance to explain what they had learned and to see if there was any possibility of rebuilding our relationship. Nathaniel and I talked about whether we should agree to meet with our parents. We were both skeptical that one conversation could resolve all the damage that had been done to our family relationships. We were also concerned that this might be another manipulation tactic designed to get access to Isabella. We decided to meet with our parents at a neutral location with our lawyer, Mr. Montgomery, present. We arranged to meet at his office so that we would have legal protection if the conversation went badly. Sebastian agreed to attend the meeting as a mediator to help keep everyone focused on resolving the issues. At the meeting, our parents brought copies of the documents that Sebastian had found in Eleanor's papers. Our mother was clearly uncomfortable, but she admitted that the evidence showed Eleanor had mistreated Sebastian and me. She said that she had idealized her memories of Eleanor and had not wanted to believe that her mother could have been abusive. Our father apologized for supporting the pressure campaign about Isabella's name. He said that he had trusted our mother's judgment about Eleanor without investigating the situation himself. He said that if he had listened to my concerns about Eleanor from the beginning, the whole conflict could have been avoided. Our mother's apology was more difficult for her to give. She said that she had been so focused on maintaining family traditions that she had dismissed my feelings about Eleanor. She said that finding the documents had forced her to confront the fact that her mother had hurt her grandchildren and that she had failed to protect us. She also apologized for making the false reports to social services and for harassing Nathaniel's family and our workplaces. She said that she had convinced herself that we were making poor decisions about Isabella's care, but that she now realized she had been trying to control our parenting choices because she could not accept that we were independent adults. Mr. Montgomery asked our parents what they expected from this meeting and what changes they were willing to make going forward. Our father said that they understood we might never want to have a close relationship with them again, but that they hoped we would consider allowing supervised visits with Isabella at some point in the future. Our mother said that she wanted to respect our decision about Isabella's name and that she would stop referring to her as Eleanor. She said that she understood why the name was painful for me and that she should have listened when I first explained my feelings about my grandmother. Nathaniel asked our parents what they planned to do about Aunt Beatrice, who had been one of the most aggressive participants in the harassment campaign. Our father said that Beatrice had been acting on information that our mother had given her and that they would explain the new situation to her. Our mother said that Beatrice would probably have a hard time accepting the truth about Eleanor because she had also idealized her. Memories of our grandmother, she said, that they would make it clear to Beatrice that any further harassment of our family would damage her relationship with them as well. Sebastian suggested that we try a gradual approach to rebuilding family relationships. He proposed that our parents could send cards or letters to Isabella on holidays and birthdays without expecting immediate responses from us. He said that if they could demonstrate consistent respect for our boundaries over time, we might consider allowing limited contact in the future. Nathaniel and I said that we needed time to think about whether we wanted to rebuild relationships with our parents. We said that the restraining order would remain in effect until it expired, and that any future contact would need to follow strict guidelines that we would establish. We also said that our parents needed to make amends with other family members who had been affected by the campaign to pressure us about Isabella's name. Several of our relatives had been put in uncomfortable positions when our parents asked them to take sides in the conflict. Our mother agreed to contact Nathaniel's mother Helena to apologize for the false information she had shared about my mental health. She said that she would explain that her concerns had been based on incorrect assumptions and that she was sorry for causing stress for Nathaniel's family. The meeting ended with our parents agreeing to respect the remaining time on the restraining order and to wait for us to contact them if we decided we wanted to try rebuilding our relationship. Mr. Montgomery said that he would draft a written agreement summarizing what had been discussed so that everyone was clear about the expectations going forward. After the meeting, Nathaniel and I spent several weeks discussing whether we wanted to give our parents another chance. We both felt that their apologies seemed genuine and that learning the truth about Eleanor had been a real turning point for them. We decided to allow limited contacts, starting after the restraining order expired. We agreed that our parents could send birthday and holiday cards to Isabella, and that they could have brief phone conversations with us once per month. We said that any future in-person visits would need to be arranged in advance and would initially be supervised by Sebastian. When the restraining order expired in December, our parents sent Isabella a Christmas card with a simple message wishing her well and expressing hope that they could be part of her life someday. They included a small gift, but did not ask for any response or make demands about seeing her. Over the past few months we have had several phone conversations with our parents. The calls have been polite but somewhat awkward as we all try to figure out how to interact after everything that happened. Our parents ask about Isabella's development and share updates about their own lives, but they avoid bringing up the past conflicts. In March, we allowed our parents to visit Isabella for the first time since she was born. The visit lasted 2 hours and took place at Sebastian's house with him, present as a supervisor. Our parents were clearly nervous and excited to see Isabella, but they followed all the rules we had established about not taking photos and not trying to override our parenting decisions. Isabella is now 15 months old and is walking and starting to say words. She was shy around our parents during the visit, which was expected since she had never met them before. Our parents were patient and did not try to force interactions with her. Our relationship with our parents is still very limited and fragile. We are proceeding carefully, because we do not want to expose Isabella to family drama if our parents revert to their previous controlling behavior. The trust that was broken during the name conflict will take years to rebuild if it can be rebuilt at all, and Beatrice has not been part of any of the reconciliation efforts. According to Sebastian, she was very upset when our parents told her about the documents they found about Eleanor. She accused our parents of betraying Eleanor's memory and said that she could not accept that Eleanor had mistreated her grandchildren. Beatrice has apparently told other extended family members that our parents are lying about Eleanor to appease us and that the whole family is falling apart because people are not respecting their elders anymore. Sebastian said that Beatrice's reaction has actually helped our parents understand how they had been thinking about family loyalty before they learned the truth about Eleanor. Looking back on this whole situation, I think the most important lesson is that family traditions and relationships should not be preserved at the expense of protecting children from harm. My parents were so invested in maintaining their idealized image of Eleanor that they were willing to dismiss my experiences of abuse and to harass me. When I refused to honor her memory, the legal system ultimately protected Isabella and our family from continued harassment, but it took finding concrete evidence of Eleanor's abusive behavior for my parents to acknowledge that my feelings about her were valid. I wish they had been willing to listen to me from the beginning instead of requiring proof that my grandmother had documented her own mistreatment of children. Isabella will grow up knowing her grandparents, but the relationship will be different than it would have been if this conflict had not happened. My parents will have to earn their place in her life rather than expecting automatic respect because of their family role. The most positive outcome is that this situation has strengthened my relationship with Nathaniel and has shown us that we can successfully protect our family when necessary. We learn to set boundaries, to seek legal help when needed, and to prioritize our child's well-being over maintaining family harmony. Isabella's name is Isabella Maeve, and that is what everyone calls her now. She will never have to carry the name of someone who hurt her mother, and she will grow up in a family that prioritizes her safety and well-being over traditions that cause harm. Now let's move to the next story. Story 2 caught my wife having an affair with my brother's best friend. My entire life is collapsing and I don't know how to move forward. I never imagined I'd be writing this. Growing up, I watched my parents' messy divorce tear our family apart. My dad cheated with his secretary, the most cliché thing ever. Mom never recovered, turned to drinking, and I spent my teenage years basically raising my younger sister. I promised myself I'd never put my future kids through that hell. But here I am living my worst nightmare. Our story started 12 years ago. I was a junior in college studying construction management, and my brother Daniel, 35M, was hosting a Super Bowl party. His girlfriend Natalie, 34F, brought her friend Charlotte, 29F, along. Charlotte wore her dad's vintage football jersey and knew more stats than any of us guys. We talked until 3:00 a.m. that night long. After everyone else left, I knew she was special. We dated through college and the rough early years of our careers. Charlotte supported me when I worked 80-hour weeks as a junior project manager. I cheered her on through 3 promotions at her marketing firm. We lived in a tiny apartment, saved every penny, and dreamed about our future. Charlotte was the planner. She mapped everything out: house by 27, kids by 30, early retirement to travel the world. Daniel and Natalie got married first and bought a house in our dream neighborhood. When the place 2 doors down went up for sale, they called us immediately. We stretched our budget but made it work. That was 3 years ago. Since then, life has been perfect. Sunday family dinners became our tradition. Daniel's kids started calling us Uncle Oliver and Aunt Charlotte. Natalie and Charlotte became inseparable. Morning runs, cooking classes, weekend shopping trips. Everything changed last year when Daniel's best friend Theodore, 36M, moved back after his divorce. He told us his ex-wife cheated with their marriage counselor. Everyone felt bad for him. Daniel wanted to help, so Theodore became a regular at our gatherings. He seemed like a good guy at first, always offering to help with house projects, bringing wine to dinner, entertaining Daniel's kids. Looking back, there were signs I ignored. Theodore always sat next to Charlotte at dinner. They developed inside jokes I didn't understand. Charlotte started dressing up more when she knew he'd be around. She'd get texts late at night and smile at her phone when I asked. She'd say it was work or Natalie. I trusted her completely. Last Tuesday changed everything. It was raining at the construction site, so I headed home early. Theodore's red pickup was in our driveway. This wasn't unusual. He sometimes used our pool or borrowed tools from our garage, but something felt wrong. The house was too quiet. Charlotte's car was there, but she hadn't answered my text about coming home early. I found them in our bedroom, the room we painted together last summer. The bed where we talked about our future kids. They were getting dressed, but it was obvious what had happened. Charlotte saw me first. Her face went white. Theodore grabbed his shirt and tried to speak, but I just walked out. I drove aimlessly. For hours, my phone kept buzzing, but I couldn't look at it. I ended up at a hotel near the airport. After staring at the ceiling all night, I turned my phone back on. 47 missed calls from Charlotte, 15 from Daniel. Countless messages. Charlotte's messages evolved from "Where are you two? Please come home. We need to talk to. I can explain everything." Daniel's messages were different. Theodore had shown up at his house drunk and confessed everything. This wasn't a one-time thing. They'd been meeting at our house for 4 months. Whenever I was at work, Daniel kicked Theodore out and ended their 20-year friendship. I stayed at the hotel for 3 days. Natalie brought me clean clothes and sat with me while I broke down. That's when I learned the full extent of Charlotte's betrayal. The affair started at Daniel's birthday party in March. Theodore had been pursuing Charlotte for months. Random texts, convenient run-ins at stores always, offering help with any problem she mentioned. Charlotte used our family time to meet him. She'd arrive early to Sunday dinners, claiming she was helping Natalie cook, but really meeting Theodore in their garage. She manipulated Natalie into covering for her multiple times, saying they were going shopping or to wine tastings when she was meeting Theodore. Every room in our house now holds tainted memories. The kitchen where we danced while making dinner. The living room where we planned our future. The bedroom where I found them. It all feels poisoned. I can't go back. Update 1. The support from this community has been eye-opening. Every message helped me get through another day. After reading your advice, I met with a lawyer and filed for divorce. I texted Charlotte to clear out her stuff before I came home. She moved in with her parents the last week. Revealed more than I ever wanted to know. Charlotte's dad showed up at my hotel room crying. He raised Charlotte as a daddy's girl. She was class president, never missed curfew. Graduated top of her class. He kept asking where they went wrong in raising her. I told him they didn't. Charlotte made her choices as an adult. He hugged me and said it'd always be his son regardless of what happens. Daniel's taking this harder than anyone. He introduced us, brought Theodore into our lives. Natalie found messages between Charlotte and Theodore on their shared family plan going back to January. The texts revealed everything. Charlotte and Theodore had been apartment hunting together. She planned to leave me after my company's big project finished next month. Said it would be the right time, since I'd be getting my annual bonus. Theodore's story about his divorce was a lie. Daniel discovered Theodore had cheated on his ex-wife with multiple women, including their neighbor and his ex-wife's cousin. His ex didn't cheat with their counselor. Theodore made that up to gain sympathy. The lies keep unraveling. Those late marketing meetings, dates with Theodore, monthly girls' wine club never existed. The yoga classes she started last fall. She spent those hours at Theodore's apartment. She even used our anniversary dinner reservation to take him out while I was at a work conference in San Diego. My favorite restaurant where all the staff knew us. They must have seen them together. Charlotte's brother Eric, 31M, brought me more proof yesterday. He found Charlotte's secret credit card statements. She spent over $15,000 on gifts for Theodore, designer watches, weekend trips, even a down payment on a jet ski. That money came from our joint savings meant for our future kids, college funds. Natalie finally confessed, something that makes me sick. Charlotte had asked her to delete their home security footage multiple times, claiming she had been crying about work stress and didn't want me to worry. Now we know she was meeting Theodore there when Daniel traveled for work. Natalie felt too guilty to keep it secret anymore. The depth of Charlotte's deception is staggering. She volunteered to handle our finances last year, saying she wanted to learn more about investing. Now I know she was hiding her spending on Theodore. She suggested I take that construction project 2 hours away, saying the experience would help my career. Really, she wanted more time with him. Our friends are choosing sides. Most support me, but some mutual. Friends think I should hear her out. Charlotte's college roommate called to tell me that Charlotte and Theodore had been flirting at Daniel's Christmas party last year. She didn't tell me then because she thought it was harmless. Now she feels guilty for staying quiet. I've barely eaten or slept. The thought of them together in our bed keeps me awake. I canceled our joint credit cards and gym membership, changed all my passwords, found a new barber because Charlotte's cousin works in my old one. It's exhausting having to rebuild every aspect of my life. Update 2. These past 2 weeks have shown me how deep this betrayal goes. Charlotte's trying everything to stop the divorce. Her mother ambushed me at my hotel, camping outside until security removed her. Charlotte showed up at my construction site in tears, causing such a scene that my supervisor had to escort her out. She even enrolled in my morning CrossFit class, forcing me to switch gyms. Daniel uncovered more about Theodore's past that makes me sick. Turns out Charlotte wasn't his only married target. He had affairs with 2 other women from our social circle. Caroline, 33F, who suddenly moved across the country last year for a dream job, was actually running from her guilt after a 6-month affair with Theodore. Then there was Sloane, 38F, my project manager's wife, who mysteriously divorced last spring. Daniel exposed everything at our local pub where Theodore was a regular. Theodore's reputation crumbled overnight. He packed up and moved to Portland last week. Charlotte's family is imploding over this. Her dad and brother are firmly on my side. They helped me pack her things and even hired a storage unit in their name so she couldn't find out where her stuff was. But her mom and sister have gone full damage control. They ambush me everywhere. The grocery store, gas station, even my doctor's office. They insist marriage is sacred and I need to fight for our love. They don't know about the apartment hunting or the money she stole. The most frustrating part is how some friends are reacting. Jason, 34M, who was supposed to be my friend, first suggested I was partly to blame because I worked long hours. He conveniently forgot how Charlotte encouraged me to take overtime projects. Liliana, 31F, another college friend, said I should have noticed the signs sooner. I cut contact with anyone who tried to rationalize Charlotte's choices. Our couple's friends are dissolving into chaos. 2 other couples have started marriage counseling, paranoid that this could happen to them. Our monthly poker group disbanded because no one wants to be around Theodore's other victims' husbands. The community pool where we all hung out got too awkward. Too many whispers, too many pitying looks. Charlotte's mom started a prayer chain at their church for our marriage. Now random church members messaged me about forgiveness and redemption. One elderly lady left a Bible on my truck with passages about reconciliation highlighted. I had to switch parking spots at work to avoid these daily gifts. The financial mess is worse than I thought. Charlotte's secret credit card had a $23,000 balance, all gifts for Theodore or hotels they met at. She used our investment account passwords to withdraw money, claiming it was for home improvements. There was even a lease application for an apartment in both their names dated for next month. She planned everything while sleeping next to me every night. Update 3. It's been a month since my world exploded. The divorce is moving forward steadily. I accepted a project management position in Santa Fe. Ironically, the same job I turned down last year because Charlotte said she couldn't leave her family. Daniel and Natalie visit every other weekend. Our relationship has actually strengthened through this nightmare. Funny how betrayal shows you who really matters. Charlotte's getting more desperate. She's created at least 15 new email addresses to contact me. Her messages range from suicidal threats to detailed plans of how we can rebuild trust. Last week, she mailed a 30-page handwritten letter to my office recounting every moment of our relationship and her supposed regrets. I returned it unopened. Her cousin tried to slip me a USB drive full of videos of Charlotte crying and apologizing. It went straight into the trash. Her dad's been a surprising source of support. He handled the house sale himself, met with realtors, managed paperwork, coordinated with movers. He made sure and he stayed away during the whole process. The house sold above asking price. The money will be split in the divorce, but my lawyer's focusing on recovering the funds Charlotte spent on Theodore. The community fallout continues. 3 couples from our friend group have separated, all citing trust issues after watching our marriage implode. Theodore's other victim stories keep surfacing. One of them, Sloane, reached out to apologize. She knew about Charlotte but stayed quiet out of shame. Theodore had a whole system targeting married women at community events, playing the divorced victim, slowly integrating himself into their lives. Daniel discovered Theodore never actually moved to Portland. He's living with some woman in a nearby city, probably starting his cycle again. Daniel wanted to warn her, but I told him to stay out of it. I'm done letting Theodore affect my life in any way. Charlotte still shows up at random places. She got a job at a coffee shop near my new office, probably hoping to run into me. She joined my new gym but got kicked out for harassing me. She even tried befriending my new project coordinator, claiming to be an old family friend, needing to deliver urgent news. The hardest part is watching the impact on Daniel's kids. They used to ask about Aunt Charlotte every day. Now they're learning about betrayal way too young. Their school counselor called because they're struggling with trust issues. Another innocent casualty of Charlotte's selfishness. Yesterday I finally packed away our wedding album, found Charlotte's handwritten vows tucked inside, promises of eternal faithfulness, trust, and honesty. The same promises she broke while planning a future with my brother's best friend. The same promises she now swears she'll keep if I give her another chance. I'm rebuilding slowly, joined a local hiking group, reconnected with college friends in Santa Fe, started learning Spanish, something Charlotte always said was a waste of time. Some days are harder than others, but I'm no longer feeling lost. To everyone who supported me through this, thank you. Your stories and advice helped me stay strong when I wanted to give in. Special thanks to this community for showing me I'm not alone. Life isn't what I planned, but at least it's authentic. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more amazing videos. Thank you.